Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Let's see what we have got in the PIB today. But before that, dear friends, can you identify the building that you can see on your screen? Give me the name of the building, give me the country in which you find this building, and give me the purpose of this building as well. 3 items from one building that you have to tell me. And the last picture was of Kim Il-sung. He is the grandfather of Kim Jong-un, very rightly identified by many of you. Now the thing is, dear friends, the special topic that we are going to discuss today is pertaining to defense procurement. We have a small news item today pertaining to this bulletproof jacket procurement, and based on this thing, I think we should chat about this thing. It is very important to chat about this thing, because the thing is, when it comes to defense, we have seen that I'm sure you all are aware about this thing, that it takes ages and ages for us to come to a conclusion. Anyways, I will leave it for the end portion, but before that, let me tell you all, you dear students, new students, that if you want to download PDF of today's discussion, then this is my Facebook page, this is my Twitter handle. You can get in touch with me as well. And I would also request you guys that if you have learned something out of it, if you have learned something new out of today's discussion, then please don't forget to give us your like, as well as do share this lecture with your friends as well. Now, I have a good news for you, and the good news is that up to 50% off is available on our pen drive and tablet courses. As you can see on your screen, we have range of different pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. They are going to last till 18th April. This discount, right, this offer up to 50% is there till 18th April. So make sure you make the most out of it. To find out more about it, check out StudyIQ.com. Now, the first item that we have is coming from Prime Minister's office. Basically, Prime Minister interacted with this people of central public sector enterprises, and he was addressing this CPSC conclave that took place in New Delhi. And the Prime Minister said that the CPSCs can play a very important role in the development, in fact a pivotal role in the development of our nation, in making our country, a new India, or transforming our India into a new India. He gave this 5P formula. Now let me briefly give you a sort of brief introduction to this 5P performance. For any organization, may it be government organization or may it be a private organization, you have to perform, isn't it? You have to deliver that thing or that service or that whatever you are promising, or your product you are coming out with. You have to perform, and performance is not just about delivering product or delivering goods. Performance is basically everything, right? All the processes that you do, from production, from procurement, everything should be, all the processes. The more your processes are streamlined, the more your processes are crafted and made tailored or customized as per your business environment, the better it is. The other thing is persona. When we talk about persona, we are specifically talking about this people, right? Human resources. If you have good human resources, you can conquer any mountain. Procurement, a very important part. Your raw material. It's not just about the quality of raw material or the goods that are coming in. It's also the decision-making process, how quickly you are taking decision, and other things also matter. And then your preparation, everything, how you are preparing, what's your future strategy, and things like that. This sort of things matters as well. So that's basically this 5P formula. He also talked about this decision making. He said that it should be streamlined, and here we will apply the same this hint that has been said by Prime Minister in our defense topic as well, when we will be going through it. Apart from that, he also said this thing, and this is very right for all of us to understand, that innovation should be a driving factor and a unique incentive model for CPSEs. He also said or gave example of many companies who were not able to last more than 2 decades because they basically, when they came into the market, they were latest ones. They adopted all the latest technologies out there, but eventually they became this dead companies because they were not upgrading the way they used to do the things. Now I have a very important topic here for you guys. It's pertaining to Kaveri water dispute. I believe many of you would be unaware about like how it all started and things like that. Now this is the reason one of the reasons why I have added a couple of pictures here which will help you a lot, but let's go through the PIB item first. Now the Supreme Court has clearly refused, or it has rejected, this request of the central government to grant it some time to file its draft scheme for the implementation of its judgment in the Kaveri water dispute case. Now the court has asked the centre to file it by 3rd May. Basically the centre missed the whole deadline of this draft scheme, and this is a very sad scenario because this thing is going on from ages and ages, right? It's going on from somewhere around 1924 to be precise, and here we are in 2018, nearly 100-year-old dispute. This is going on, this Kaveri water dispute. The other thing is, everything was all right. The Supreme Court came out with a decision as well, but then as well centre I believe purposefully missed this deadline because Karnataka is a party of this Kaveri dispute case, and the central does not want to send out any negative signal because elections are just around the corner. So here you can argue that when it comes to election, or when it comes to voting and all this number game, and when it comes to, on the other side, this sort of qualitative things, then the government is inclined in towards this qualitative or vote or earning this brownie points by making sure that they are not doing anything that will harm this interest of the state of Karnataka. And Supreme Court has said it very well that there is no escaping from this task. It has said to the centre. Now let me take you through the timeline or this background of this whole dispute or this Kaveri water thing. Now let's start with this basic thing. I have just zoomed it up for you a little bit. Now dispute resolution, the Kaveri agreement. Of course I'm not going to take you through all important all lines here. I will just take you through very quickly to all important things that took place, right? So you can of course download this file and then you can go through it in detail. As we have limited time here, so I won't be able to do that, but of course I will introduce you with important details. So let's move on. Let's start a dispute resolution. You have this Kaveri agreement was signed back in 1924 between this Madras Presidency and state of Mysore. It lapsed in 1974. That means after 50 years it lapsed. Since 1970, Tamil Nadu had been demanding the setting up of a Kaveri water dispute tribunal. In 1990, we find Supreme Court directs centre to constitute CWDT. Centre notifies CWDT in June 1991. In interim award, Karnataka ordered to release 205 TMC feet, but passes ordinance to nullify order, and Supreme Court later on strikes down this ordinance of Karnataka, which this ordinance was basically refusing, means ordinance was a route taken by Karnataka, and Supreme Court strikes down this ordinance and Karnataka refuses to oblige. This was a very sad scenario. Then in August 1998, after nearly 7 years, we find that centre constitutes this Kaveri River Dispute, Kaveri River Authority, CRA, to implement this interim award. That we see in 2007. When we reach here, we find the CWDT gives its final award. After 17 years, it comes out with this final award, and in 2007, Kerala moves Supreme Court against the final order, followed by Tamil Nadu. Then we find in something took place in May and June. Then you have in 2013, Tamil Nadu moves Supreme Court for directions to centre to constitute Kaveri management. Hold on a second. Now you have 2015, Karnataka objects to Tamil Nadu's plea, and in 2016 Supreme Court asks Karnataka to take some steps to release the water here. because there was a dispute going on between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka said that back in 2015 that it was a normal year, so why you want more water from this river and things like that. So everything came to a sort of logical end here in 2017. On the tribunal final award, Supreme Court says it would take a balanced view by keeping in mind the interests of the people of both states, and Karnataka sought a reduction in the quantum of Kaveri water it should release to Tamil Nadu from 192 TMC feet to 132. And then we come to February 2018, and as per February 2018, the Supreme Court has basically divided or decided the share of water for all these 4 different parties. You have Karnataka, you have Tamil Nadu, Kerala, these are the 3 states, and then you have Puducherry, which is a union territory. So as per the latest verdict of 2018, February 2018, Karnataka will get 284.75 TMC feet of water from Kaveri. That is, earlier it was allotted 270, but government, specifically Supreme Court, keeping in mind the necessity of the Bengaluru city, 14.75 TMC feet has been given extra to this Karnataka. We see a reduction in the share of Tamil Nadu. It was earlier given 419, and now it will get 404.25. Kerala, no change, 30. Union Territory of Puducherry, 7. Environmental Protection, 10 TMC feet. And inevitable escape into sea is 4 TMC feet. In total, we are talking about what, 740 TMC feet of Kaveri water. Now the thing is, when this verdict came out, the central government was supposed to come out with a scheme within 6 weeks to implement this tribunal's award as modified by Supreme Court. The tribunal had said the scheme will include a special body called Kaveri Management Board to supervise this reservoir operations and regulate releases. So for that you need CMB. Now this CMB will have people from, or technical experts from all these states or these parties that are here, that are party to this Kaveri dispute, and this was the thing that was to be set up by the government, but still it has not came out with a proper thing. I hope this whole timeline and this whole history of this Kaveri dispute is clear to you guys, and now we have to wait and watch for 3rd May. Let's hope that center will do something about it on 3rd May, because I believe elections are a bit later on, so we don't want to see a lapse again. And if we will see this thing, then this will be taken very seriously by Supreme Court. In fact, this time as well, Supreme Court has took it very seriously. Good news from Defense Ministry. Nirmala Sitharaman ji said today that there is a growing interest among various countries in Indian missiles. There are many countries out there. They are seeking Indian missiles because, of course, we are precise. The quality is good. At the same time, the price, when you compare it with other developed countries, is reasonably cheaper. So this is a unique selling proposition, and all the services and other things works out a bit cheaper as well when you compare it with other developed countries. Now here you can see the shade of our defense future or present. Till now we used to purchase things from countries like, I'm just giving you a few names here. You have Russia, you have USA, we have France, right? We are going to purchase, and we are purchasing many important defense items from these developed countries. At the same time, we have reached a level where we are also becoming a bit of supplier, and everything is taking place under this Make in India thing. And it's a good sign. It's a good sign. We can stand on our own feet. Most of the items, if you go back in the history of our country, as far as defense or this space technology and other things are concerned, when I say space, I'm talking about missile technology. Of course, you can add space technologies as well. Now, there are some important components that you have to use, and I'm saying it from what APJ Kalam sir has said in his various books, that there was a time when we used to ask for some sort of technologies from like cryogenic technology is a very critical technology, and this was basically not given to us or shared with us by many friendly countries as well. So what happened is basically we decided to get mastery over this cryogenic technology. Cryogenic basically deals with this low temperatures. If you don't know, then let me tell you, it basically keeps your fuel under a liquid state in a very low temperature, and then when you want to use it, then it will come to this chamber and things like that. Anyways, so there was a time when we used to suffer because people or different countries were not sharing their expertise and technologies with us, and we have suffered a lot because of this thing. But now we have reached a stage and we have proved this thing that we can master this thing. So there are other things as well, like there are planes. We have a good example of Tejas. Now we need to produce a bit bigger planes, or generation 5 or generation 6. I believe generation 5 is already out. I think Russia and America, they have got this generation 5 planes, fighter jets. We can do it as well. We can have this late beginner's advantage, but the only problem is the process. The whole process and the vision that we have is bit not that supportive, and this is the only thing. But anyways, Defense Minister has said that as he has encouraged all these defense attaches that are posted in Indian missions abroad to encourage them, as he has encouraged them to basically get in touch with this defense procurement team of foreign countries and promote our products, defense products. Now we have decided this is a small news item on which we are going to go through and do a thorough analysis. But before that, let me introduce you to this thing. We have some other items as well. So very briefly, we are going to purchase 1.86 lakh bulletproof jackets under this Make in India initiative. We are going to produce it in India, and these are going to be state-of-the-art bulletproof jackets, and now we will analyze it in detail. Now let's move on to another item. President of our country is in African nation, and yesterday I told you about this thing, that one of the main job or main aim of this African visit of president is to make sure that our relationship with different African countries are strengthening. The other thing is Sri Ramnath Kovindji and his counterpart of Equatorial Guinea, they had a delegation level talk with each other. They reviewed and they talked about this bilateral relationship, and they discussed ways of expanding this bilateral relationship that we have between these two countries. We have signed agreements on a traditional system of medicine, medicinal plants, information and technology, and health. Now let me take you through this Equatorial Guinea, and I have gone through your comments. When I say comments, I'm basically talking about your answers. And I must admit this thing, that if you compare, then you will find that this Hindi version, you find more comments. The students of Hindi version are more active. There are a couple of students whom I know from last many months, because they have been consistent enough. On regular basis, I can see that whatever difficult question they face, they will do research, and this is the mind that will succeed. I will request you guys as well that you can learn from each other, and this is the whole purpose of this questions and answers and other things. Or else we can just have a normal discussion every day that will help you as well with your preparation, and then we can move on. But no, I have decided that your growth should be holistic, and this is my try. And you might have observed this thing, I have been consistent in this thing. I know that many times students, they fall down. When I say fall down, they feel not that motivated, or they'll say I will do it later on, and this sort of negative habits that your mind has created for you. Not you, but your mind has created for you. And here you have a big message as well, that you have to be in charge of your mind, and it should not be other way around. Anyways, I will request you guys to take active part in this question and answer session, and make sure you do take out time. This is part of your preparation. The lecture completes not when I stop to speak, or not when this video ends. The lecture finishes when you provide your answer, when you think about the things that we have discussed already, and then your lecture finishes. This is the art of study. Now, Equatorial Guinea. Now, if you go back in 2017 and if we observe 2018, we have a couple of weeks ago, we saw President was in Mauritius, he was in this Madagascar as well. So I will say that there are chances that you may find a question, geographical or location based question from Africa. And here we have this Equatorial Guinea. So of course, one of the main reason why you have this name Equatorial, because equator line is going through your country Guinea here. So I will reckon you guys to make sure that all the countries through which, all these African countries through which equatorial line is passing through, you should remember their names. You may find a question like identify a country that is not falling in line, or that is not, or a country from where you don't find this equatorial line passing from it. So pay attention to this thing. I will reckon you guys to go through your atlas. Now let's get back to this Equatorial Guinea. As you can see here, it's a country here. This is the country Equatorial Guinea, and here see the line here, right? The border is nearly a rectangle from one side, and then on the other side, on the western side, it is sharing its border with Atlantic Sea. You can see Gulf of Guinea over here, and interestingly, you have two parts of Guinea. One is the mainland portion, and the other one is the island portion, and its capital is here on this island. It's called Malabo. Malabo is the capital of Equatorial Guinea, and then you have this another big city called Bata. Now, African continent, you have some very special thing in African continent. You have this biggest desert in the world. You have the longest, not the largest, but the longest river of the world. Then you have this this portion here is full of greenery because of equator, and this is the reason why you have this bit of greenery here as well in this country called Equatorial Guinea. You can see it is more mountainous. If you go through this chart here, then you will find that generally speaking, it is very mountainous country, so it gets this benefit of rainfall and other things. And generally, you have this Congo and other things, other important countries here. They are rich in biodiversity and other things. Moving on to another item, this is Swaziland here. Now, let me show you where Swaziland is. Here, if you see, this is Swaziland completely. Let me zoom it up for you so you can have a good look here. See, this is Swaziland, and Swaziland is basically a completely landlocked. I beg your pardon, this is Lesotho. This is Swaziland here, this one. Extremely sorry about that. This is Swaziland here, and it is a landlocked country, yes, and it is sharing its border. This is Swaziland, right? And it is sharing its border with a country called Mozambique as well. Now, coming on to Swaziland, you can see here, this is a small tiny country, Swaziland, completely landlocked, and it is entirely in this South Africa, and on its eastern part, it is sharing its border with this Mozambique. Many rivers, as you can see, and you have this important mountain, Drakensberg mountain range that is sharing, means you can have this South Africa as well as, it is passing from South Africa as well as this Swaziland. Now, both these countries have decided that we are going to cooperate with each other, and as far as this Swaziland is concerned, we are going to help them with agriculture, public health, telecom and IT sector. Tomorrow we will talk about this Zambia, and that would be all as far as this presidential African tour is concerned. Now, a good news for northeastern state. The good news is that the first meeting of Niti Ayog, not Niti Ayog, but Niti Forum for Northeast was held in Agartala, and this is a unit of Niti Ayog. The main job of this Niti Forum, or the you can say the opportunity that this Niti Forum will bring for Northeast, is that it will create a healthy synergy between this Northeastern Ministry or donor, Northeastern Council and Niti Ayog. These three can interact with each other, and Dr. Jitendra Singh, who is Minister for Development of Northeastern Region, has said that there has been a 21% rise in fund utilization. Apart from that, he also talked about this category, changing this category of bamboo from tree to grass, 100% central funding for this northeastern projects, and he also talked about this Northeast Tourism Development Council. Moving on to another item, it is about USA and China. Now we have seen this thing that this war sort of thing is going on between USA and China. When I say war, I'm talking about this tariff war or tariff hike, because of this tariff hike that was raised by this Mr. Trump of USA. China again reciprocated with something similar, and this sort of things are not good for global development or global growth as well as for India. If we analyze it from Indian perspective, then we know that we had this demonetization. After that we had this GST, introduction of GST, and after introduction of GST and around that point of time, if we observe global market, then things were a bit down. Means it was coming there, getting there slowly, but now at present things are doing okay. Global market is flourishing, though slowly, but it is flourishing. There are good positive signs, and at the same time, if we have this sort of scenario, then this is going to be detrimental for our growth rate as well as for the global growth rate as well. Now let's hope that these two countries, these two giants, will sort out their problems at WTO level, and we have to also see this thing whether WTO will be successful in sorting out this problem for both these countries or not. Defense procurement and upgradation, this is the special topic of the day. Now if we go back in 2017, then we find that a Sergeant Milind Kishore, he died of 2 bullets of Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist, because these bullets pierced his bulletproof helmet that he was wearing. CRPF soldier also got killed because of this bulletproof jacket that he was wearing, was not able to save him from this bullets that were coming from this Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist's gun. And if we go back in 2017, this case of Pathankot Air Base, I'm sure you might have heard about this gentleman, Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan Singh. He passed away. He was basically a person from a bomb disposal squad, and he died diffusing this explosive manually, because the gear he was wearing was not able to protect him. Now the thing is, we see this sort of quality or this inferior quality in the name of bulletproof, or you give this name to bulletproof, but they are not entirely bulletproof, and we can save these important lives. Now we have decided that we are going to purchase this 1.86 lakh bulletproof jackets for our boys and girls, or for our soldiers. But if you go back and see this whole decision making process, then you will feel very sad, because this thing, basically this decision, or the whole seed of this decision was started back in 2009. Can you imagine? 2009. And the other thing is that this is a very sad side of our politics, that when it comes to, if someone passes away, if a soldier attains martyrdom whilst fighting with Pakistani sponsored terrorists in Kashmir, or things like that, then you will find that political parties will take on Twitter and other social networking sites, and they will be chatting about it, and they will be speaking out on it and things like that. But when it comes to equipping our soldiers with good gear, with latest technologies, it's more just, you can say, it's all barking and no bite. Defense Acquisition Council, DAC, approved this procurement, this bulletproof jackets that we are talking about, this 1.86 lakh bulletproof jackets. This was approved back in 2009 under this UPA2 government. At present, we are talking about nearly a decade, and it was back in 2014 when this Major General retired BC Khanduri, he was basically not happy at all with the government of this delay in this procurement of this jacket back in 2014. Then as well, it took 2 years for us to provide this 50,000 jackets, which are badly needed by our boys. It is about their life and death. And the thing is that all these people who are taking or part of this decision making process, they generally take a decision in their AC chamber, right? They have this air conditioner chamber and things like that, and they should realize that these delays are basically taking away lives of our boys, and they are destroying our forces. This is something that is not acceptable at all. Things should be fast. You cannot have this red tape when it comes to this sort of important gears and items or defense products. I hope someone will learn a lesson from this sort of things, and let's hope and pray that our procurement process becomes a bit quicker. Now, the Prime Minister, when he was addressing this CPSC, these things should be addressed to all these people who are associated with this defense procurement. That's everything in today's discussion, dear friends. These are your answers, these are your questions, and make sure you make the most out of this 50% discount that is available on different pen drive and tablet courses. If you have learned something, please don't forget to give us your like, pass your valuable comments, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you all soon. Jai Hind.